Uganda has shifted from a reliable security partner to an exporter of brutality. This evidence should kickstart a reassessment of our bilateral relationship. The administration has implemented serious repercussions for those committing atrocities in South Sudan, and this is no different. This is an indictment on the Museveni regime. And yes, indeed, broadcasting from these United States of America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching me and at whatever time you might watch this conversation. My name is Mordecai Murisa, and you're welcome to Mordecai Murisa Live. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go one more time. Not one more time, but again. Well, now, you all know that in January this year, the chairman of the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Jim Risch, a Republican representative in the House from Idaho, issued a stark warning to the administration of President Donald John Trump. He said it was time to confront the regime of Yoweri Museveni. However, his message singled out one particular man, which is Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who is not only a senior commander in the Uganda People's Defense Force, our military, but the son of the president. He's never worked a job in his life. He's a Napo baby, true definition or manifestation of being born with a spoon in your mouth, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. But he's the commander of our defense forces. According to Risch, Kainerugaba had, quote, crossed a red line, and that the United States should or had to reassess its security partnership with Uganda, including possibility of sanctions targeting Muhoozi Kainerugaba and a few Museveni enablers and obsequious foot soldiers. Now, if you thought that was really tough, I want to be the bearer of the bad news to the Museveni regime, but good news to us. The pressure is just intensifying. And why is this? A damning report released 2 days ago by the United Nations Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan, it alleged that the Uganda People's Defense Force Air Force conducted aerial bombardments across Sudan last year. The findings have yet again reignited alarm in Washington. Responding to this report, again, this gentleman from Idaho, Jim Risch, declared that Uganda appears to have transformed, quote, from a reliable security partner to an exporter of brutality. Imagine that. He added that the evidence at hand should trigger a fundamental reassessment of the bilateral relationship between the United States and Uganda. This controversy does not emerge in isolation, absolutely not. It follows a series of inflammatory posts. I think I will show you one of them here. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Muhoozi Kainerugaba, this is the commander of our defense forces. In his mind, he thinks, he's being edgy and, he thinks vice signaling is a badge of honor. See what he posts. If the Noya, a tribe in Sudan, South Sudan, if the Noya elders are wise enough to give me 1,000 cows, I will stop attacking them. Give me cows, I'll stop killing you. Then he goes on to say, Noya should surrender before we wipe them out. Who uses that language? Wipe people out? Who uses that kind of language? Leave it to Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Now, these remarks sparked outrage and deepened concerns about the conduct of Uganda's military leadership. Now, this outrage that, erupted was coming from our neighbors and friends who were wondering, hey, are you guys living in hell and we do not know? How does the commander of the defense forces behave like that? But in Uganda, it is pretty much normalized. I mean, I'm referring to a man who was summoned by an arm of government, the parliament, and said, I don't appear before clowns. He referred to members of parliament as clowns. Now, with scrutiny mounting from the Washington District of Columbia and criticism growing both internationally And at home in Uganda, the once stable alliance between USA and Uganda appears to be entering what one could define as turbulent waters. For the Museveni government, should I call it a government? For the Museveni regime, long accustomed to strategic support from Western partners, this moment we are witnessing may represent something far more serious than what many people are trying to tell us. Oh, that's just a diplomatic friction. No, it might be the beginning of an end of an era. And what era? The Museveni criminal regime era. Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. It is ticking. The clock is ticking. Museveni regime is coming to an end. The Museveni regime is coming to an end. And I'm here for it. Inject this in my veins. Oh yeah. Now I know what's going to happen now. You have Museveni sympathizers, minions, the obsequious foot soldiers, lapdogs, name it. They're going to come and try to lecture us about Pan-Africanism. They want to tell us about imperialism. This is the time. They're going to clutch their pearls, engage in ridiculous hypocrisy and double standards. Those people want to control. They want to colonize Africa. Dude, you're already colonizing me. Why did you tell me about who is supposed to colonize me? You? Shut up. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Let's do this. Let's do this right about now. All right. You see a smile on my face. I'm just from having some strawberries. So if you see me take a bite, I hope you don't mind. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go and read words from Senator Jim Risch. This is when he first said that Muhoozi had crossed a red line. I'll read you here. He said, this is when Muhoozi Kainerugaba came up with these baseless, stupid accusations because they've been hunting for Bobi Wine and failure to know where Bobi Wine is. He was fed, they say he was fed wrong intelligence that the U.S. Embassy in Uganda was planning to have Bobi Wine out of Uganda. So he said, the very precious security cooperation between Uganda and the USA has been undermined for a decade now, since 2015, by unimaginative bureaucrats at the embassy. This is in spite of the excellent political relations between two countries. Then he says, fellow Ugandans, because of the present situation where an opposition leader kidnapped himself and is missing, and according to our best intelligence, did it in coordination with the current administration at the U.S. Embassy in our country, we as the Uganda People's Defense Force suspend all cooperation with the current administration at the U.S. Embassy in Kampala. This includes our work in Somalia. Hey, son. I warned that you are flying too close to the sun. Son, you're flying too close to the sun. And he was able to realize that, he was crossing a very, very red line. He immediately went and apologized on the same day. This is what he wrote in his apology. Oh, I want to apologize to our great friends. Great now. The ones that have been undermining the cooperation for 10 years. That says, I want to apologize to our great friends, the US, for my earlier tweets that I have now deleted. I was being fed with wrong information. I've spoken with the U.S. ambassador to our country, and everything is okay. We are going to continue our military cooperation as usual. What does this say? First of all, listen, do you have to write this and be like, oh, I spoke to the U.S. ambassador? Or you speak to the U.S. ambassador and is sort of ambiguous and vague in his response, then you come up with these accusations. But no. Let me accuse you. Then after accusing you, I'm going to give you a call. And when you tell me the truth, I'm going to retract what I said and apologize. Who are you kidding? But besides that, he said that, this cooperation had been undermined since 2015. So does the apology compensate the lies? Are you going to go on and put up the undermining of the cooperation that has been going on since 2015? That's Muhoozi Kainerugaba. But here's what Jim Risch said. He went on and said, Commander, I will read you here. Okay. Commander, Muhoozi Kainerugaba has crossed the red line, and now the U.S. must reevaluate its security partnership, which includes sanctions and military cooperation with Uganda. The president's son and likely successor cannot just delete tweets and issue hollow apologies. The U.S. will not tolerate this level of instability and recklessness when American personnel, U.S. interests, and innocent lives in the region are at stake. That's what he said. So now, just yesterday, this is what he said. Watch here. Uganda has shifted from a reliable security partner to an exporter of brutality. This evidence should kickstart a reassessment of our bilateral relationship. The administration has implemented serious repercussions for those committing atrocities in South Sudan, and this is no different. This is an indictment on the Museveni regime. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it shouldn't be a surprise if you wake up tomorrow and Muhoozi Kainerugaba and a few of his enablers and Museveni minions are sanctioned by the U.S. I would want to see this happen. I know. One thing they will tell you now, imperialism is bad. USA is controlling us. When USA is funding Uganda, they don't say anything. When they're stealing all this money that is being given to us by our development partners, like the International Monetary Fund or World Bank or other partners like the EU. No. Now the imperialist is good. They don't mind. He can do whatever he wants. But the moment he says, hey, I'm giving you this money, but how about you respect people's rights? Oh, you want to control me. They will come out to try to teach us about the importance of Pan-Africanism. Save me that drama. Save me that drama. I don't want to listen. You know, I've always hated every time I see these Museveni sympathizers. They usually want to pretend like as though they are some sort of good leaders. Yet, you don't see any difference between the Museveni regime and that of the colonizers. And I'll tell you, in some areas, the colonizers are way better than Museveni. I'll tell you that. For example, let me give you another example. Museveni has this ardent critic of Obote and Idi Amin Dada's government. But what was he accusing of Idi Amin? What was he accusing him of doing? The abduction of people. Sounds like something that's going on in Uganda right now. As I'm talking to you, this man right here, Sam Mugumya, was abducted. Now they're counting 100 days of enforced disappearance. But he was abducted after he was imprisoned in Ndoro military prison in Democratic Republic of Congo on the orders of the same regime. And after he spent how many years in Ndoro military prison, he was released, came back to Uganda. I spoke to him. Amazing gentleman. A leader par excellence. He was planning to run for a parliamentary position. He was abducted now for more than 100 years. And we've been told that he's being kept at a torture chamber in Entebbe. So, Museveni was accusing the regime of abducting people, killing them, targeting the clergy. You saw Museveni recently ordered the Catholic Church not to pray for Dr. Chiza Besigye. Sectarianism, nepotism, Museveni giving his son a job to be the commander of the Defense Forces, Janet Kainerugaba, whose education background is completely vague, is the Minister of Education, and you have the likes of Rhetoric, to mention but a few. I can go on and on. I'm going to spend here night trying to explain how Museveni is surrounding himself by yes men who are coming from his clan and family. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go on and show you the story here of the UPDF government in the panic mode. Listen here.
In March 2025, Uganda troops were deployed in South Sudan to support the government of President Salva Kiir under a bilateral security agreement between the two countries. This was first confirmed by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, in a social media post, and later by the Director of Defense Public Information, Major General Felix Kulaije.
Yeah, you can confirm we have deployed in South Sudan. If it wasn't with the cooperation of South Sudan, it would be referred to as an invasion. Our deployment in South Sudan is at the request of the government of South Sudan, and we have deployed there to support the government.
The deployment of the UPDF in South Sudan, however, attracted criticism from some members of parliament who questioned how it was done before parliamentary approval.
Matter is also a security matter.
Okay, they went on to question, but I want you to listen here.
Be adopted by this house, those in favor
Procedure.
The ayes have it.
Now, a new report from a UN investigation is accusing the UPDF in a joint operation with the South Sudan forces of conducting aerial bombardments targeting civilian populated areas last year.
Well, I'm going to show you here why that won't be a surprise to me. Now, that pains the investigation. I think I should say that. But would you be surprised if a man who posts this kind of messages is accused of killing people, especially targeting civilians? Like he says, surrender or we're going to wipe you out. Look here. Trying to fight UPDF is the quickest path to hell. Whatever we have done in Eastern DRC, South Sudan and Somalia is only a fraction of what we are capable of. As a military, we haven't even begun. Who writes this? Who engaged in this kind of rhetoric? Leave it to Muhoozi Kainerugaba. I've got a lot more to show you here. Read here. It says, on the instructions of the Commander-in-Chief, Museveni, I have told our forces in South Sudan to stop attacking the White Army. If the White Army does not make any more offensives, we will stop our attacks. The White Army. Look at all this racist stuff he usually engages in. Says Dr. Riek Machar is going to kneel down in front of Afande Salva. I will help him with that. I want the stupid fighting to end. Our people do not have to die for this misunderstanding. I also want 1,000 cows from the Noya. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the commander of our defense forces. This is Muhoozi Kainerugaba writing all these things. And he continues to, always talking about how he's a follower of Jesus Christ. After Jesus Christ, my own father, General Museveni, is the greatest. If he ordered us to capture Khartoum, we'll take it tomorrow and stuff like that he usually engages in. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here for it. Save me the talks of colonialism, imperialism, and stuff they usually engage in. Museveni and Muhoozi don't have the best interests of the Ugandan people at heart. Zero. They don't. So and I've always argued this. I usually hear people say, oh, the West fought Muammar Gaddafi and they toppled his regime. Dude, convince me. You want to convince me that Gaddafi was president for Libya for 42 years and he didn't have any opposition? Now, if you say, oh, he really had opposition, then tell me how he treated the opposition. Oh, then after finding out how he was treating his opposition, tell me how would the opposition respond to any form of help from somebody within or without? Tell me. So as we have seen, the targeting of Bobi Wine and his supporters, the abduction, torturing, enforced disappearances, and killing of Bobi Wine supporters, the continued illegal detention of Dr. Kizza Besigye, and the blatant violation of human rights, trumped up charges against innocent people. Tell me, if I get any sort of help from any country, I'm going to be like, no, don't help me. You're kidding me. Museveni himself had help from other countries when he was fighting Obote. So don't lecture me about Pan-Africanism. I don't care. I don't care. I've actually realized that the most crusaders of Pan-Africanism are the hypocrites. People who hate Africa at heart. They don't care, like Museveni. He believes that he's the only vision bearer. Museveni, the indispensable. If I leave Uganda, I think I saw an interview where he was getting lost in his diatribes. He said, these are serious matters. He believes that he's the only one who can fix the serious matters. And if he's not the only one, then he has to be replaced by Muhoozi Kainerugaba. What? Okay, I'm going to stop here. Sounds like I'm becoming a little emotional in flapping my gums here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please consider subscribing to this feed, share it, hype this video, and invite others to join us. Now I started something. I'm inviting you to be producers of this show. Be the producer of this show by contributing 20,000 shillings a month. I think that's around $4 or $5 a month. And I'm looking for 100 people. We so far have 10. I'm looking for 90 more. If you want to be part of those people, please write to me on my WhatsApp, +1 712 303 7831. Write me and be like, hey, Mordecai, I want to be part of the Mordecai Morisa live show producer. And I will tell you how to do that. That's my WhatsApp, +1 712 303 7831. What do you think? Am I getting super excited? Am I wrong? And like I usually say, if I made any mistake, unintended, if really, I don't know if I really did, but if I did, if I intended or not intended, please forgive me. All right, I'll be back soon. Stick around for now. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched?
I'm sure they did.
I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa Live YouTube channel?